News, Matt.
All right, Janice, thank you very much. On Close Up this morning, more on that tragedy in Texas where a mother of 5 has admitted to killing her children. Marcia Kennedy Sondergaard was married to Andrea Yates' brother for 13 years. She joins us now. Miss Kennedy Sondergaard, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You've known Andrea Yates since she was 17 years old. I know you haven't seen her in a couple of years. Can you describe her to me?
She's a very smart, very sweet. She was always very good with my children, or my child, my son. It's just devastating to my son, but particularly because he stayed in touch with the family and the children. And
she has been described as, by some people, as a good, caring mother. What was your reaction when you saw the report on television and saw her being led away from that house?
I didn't see it till late last night because I didn't find out about it until I was at work, and it was pretty devastating. It's not the Andrea I know.
When you say it's not the Andrea you know, physically?
She didn't look physically anything like Andrea, or she's a very warm person, a very caring, loving person. That's the Andrea I knew.
Did you have any idea that she was having difficulty with depression? Is that something that had been talked about among family members?
I'd heard of that.
Did you know about her suicide attempt a couple of years ago?
I'd rather not comment on that.
But suffice it to say that there were some concerns about her mental health. Would that be appropriate to say?
Probably, yes.
What kind of man is her husband?
I don't know Rusty that well. I met him about 5 or 6 times. He seemed like a very warm, loving person. He was very good to Andrea that I saw.
I know that you did spend some time with Andrea after the birth of her first son, Noah. It's been said that she's been suffering from some postpartum depression. Did she have any emotional difficulty after the birth of her son?
I didn't see any. Noah, after Noah, no.
Is there anything else you can tell us about her that might shed light on what possibly went wrong?
I don't know. Like I said, it just doesn't seem like the Andrea I knew for 12 years that cherished the children at Christmas time. And
all right, Marcia Kennedy Sondergaard.
It's really hard.
Marcia Kennedy Sondergaard, thank you very much. Robert Hurst is with the Houston Police Department. Mr. Hurst, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Can you describe for me exactly what happened when your officer arrived at the Yates home?
Yesterday morning, shortly before 10 o'clock, Houston police officers responded to what we refer to as a call for service at this address on Beachcomber Drive in the Clear Lake area of Houston. When the officers arrived here, they were met at the door by Ms. Yates. When they asked why she needed the police here, she said that she had just killed her children. She escorted the officers back to the master bedroom, where they found the bodies of the 3 boys and the 1 young girl in the bed, and then the body of the oldest boy in the bathtub.
What was her emotional state? How did the officer describe that?
As far as her emotional state, the only information that's been passed on to me, sir, is that she appeared to be a little bit out of breath. But other than that, no other information has been passed on to me regarding her mental state.
So there have been reports that she'd been suffering from depression. Did she talk to the officer at all about her having difficulty with that or being on medication?
Not to my knowledge.
Had there been any reports of trouble with this family in the past? Any other calls to police for help?
Checking our records yesterday when the media was inquiring, showing what may have occurred here in the past at this address over the past couple of years. The only information that we show here is that there have been a couple of false burglary alarms when thunderstorms come through here and accidentally set off burglar alarm systems. But as far as anything further beyond that, there's nothing in our records at this time to indicate that there's been any past problems with the Yates family.
Have you been able to talk to any friends and neighbors who have been able to shed any light on what's been going on in that house for the past couple of months?
Obviously, the homicide investigators are conducting a complete and thorough investigation, and that will be part of their investigation, is to talk to relatives as well as neighbors as part of their investigation. But at this point in time, the Homicide Division is not giving out any information in regards to that aspect of the case.
It's been reported that Mrs. Yates' husband was at work. She called him at about the same time she called police to come to the home. Have investigators had a chance to talk to him extensively?
Mr. Yates has been asked some questions by the homicide investigators. That is correct.
And I understand, Mr. Hurst, that the officer who answered this call was extremely shaken up by what he found in that house. How's he doing?
The officer that responded to the call here, I must say that that officer responded to this call in a very professional manner and represented the Houston Police Department very well. And that officer, to my knowledge, is back on duty today. But as to him being distraught over what he found, I think anybody that would find the bodies of 5 children inside a house like this, that would be something that would affect them somewhat. But at the same time, that officer represented the Houston Police Department very well and acted in a very professional manner and did exactly what he was trained to do by the Houston Police Department.
All right, Robert Hurst. Mr. Hurst, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
13 after the hour. Here's Katie.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. And now to the missing persons case in Washington, D.C. that has everyone puzzled. What happened to Chandra Levy, the young intern who has been missing for 7 weeks now? Terrence Gaynor is the Executive Assistant Police Chief for the District of Columbia. Chief Gaynor, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
I know that Chandra Levy's parents returned to Washington yesterday. Have you been able to have any conversations with them and update them on the progress of the investigation?
As of last night, we didn't. We do hope that we'll have an opportunity to do that today, to share with them what we've been doing and to listen and try to understand where they're coming from.
Well, Chief Gaynor, can you share with us what you've been doing and how the investigation is going this morning so far?
It's going slowly but methodically. We've interviewed hundreds of people. We've re-interviewed scores of individuals, and we'll continue to do that. After a broadcast something like this, we're liable to get more tips from across the country, and we'll be following those up.
Chief Gaynor, are you still focusing on the Washington metropolitan area in terms of where she might have disappeared?
Well, we're keeping the possibility open that she could be anywhere in the United States, but clearly the center of our investigation happens to be here, but we have plenty of help across the country through both the FBI and local law enforcement.
Now, as you know, the Levys have hired, or perhaps you don't, but I'm sure you've heard, they've hired D.C. Attorney Billy Martin. Have you been able to have any conversations, Chief Gaynor, with Billy Martin so far?
Chief Ramsey and I have exchanged telephone messages with Mr. Martin, but we haven't been able to hook up. Hopefully, again, I hope that happens today so that we can both inform each other and maybe move even further in this investigation.
Okay, Chief Gaynor, obviously the big question is Congressman Condit and when you all will have another conversation with him.